Okay. Today we are reviewing the Speed Racer film from 2008. It's a Wachowski classic. At least I consider it to be. Growing up as a child, I absolutely adored this film, and as of right now, I'm the only person I know who owns it or has even seen it. Until this past week, when my friend David watched it, who is here.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, David. You've
Yes.
watched this film, and
I yes, I
to
have watched this film.
I think I told you before you watched it that not a lot of people know it exists, and for those who do, they don't like it. But let's jump straight into your, what was it, one sentence review of it after you finished watching it. You said you were, quote,
Honestly don't remember the exact words, but I was very impressed.
very
Based
impressed.
off based off my expectations going in, because I
Yes,
saw
yes.
like the reviews on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, which isn't like always something that you should go off of, but
Yeah, what is the Tomato
it's
review on
like
that
it's
movie?
like 30 something.
Is
Like
it?
it's yeah, in the IMDb one.
Yeah.
Speed Racer 2008. Yeah, 41% and then 37 for Metacritic.
Metacritic. Um,
Yeah, and it bombed at the box office.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
but
Yeah, I what
but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, but despite all that,
It's a pretty good movie.
I had a very good time watching this movie.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
When
I thought it was very exciting.
so I went to go see it in theaters. My grandma took me. I remember it.
Did she
Because
enjoy it?
I don't think she knew what was going on, and we'll get into that. But um, I remember it vividly. It's one of the few movie going experiences I remember as a kid because my grandma, me, and my siblings were the only ones in the theater. It was completely empty,
God,
and I remember we were like running around because we could.
I had a I don't sorry to butt it, but I had a similar experience. You remember the movie Nine with like the sock puppets?
Yes, it was Elijah Wood, right? Is the main he voiced the main puppet.
I honestly don't know, but I went to go see it. Like I think it was like on my birthday, like when I was like a kid, whenever it came. Because it came out like 9-9, because that was the whole thing. It came out in 2009, so I went to see it with my dad, and we were legitimately the only two people in the movie theater.
Yeah, that movie scared me, but it is a good movie, which
It
we
is.
might review in following weeks.
Yeah, sure. I'd be up
But
for that.
today we are talking about Speed Racer, and for those of you
Yes.
who don't know, it does star Amelia Hirsch as the main character, as a Speed Racer. Um, he's a slept-on actor. I know this movie was a big break for him, and he went on to do a couple more roles, but he had a drunken episode at a club, and he's slowly coming back. He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He played one of the guys that got killed in real life
I
that didn't
didn't.
get
I
killed
didn't
in the
see.
movie.
I didn't see it yet.
Oh, perhaps
No spoilers.
we're not going to spoil anything. Yeah, and another big name it stars John Goodman. Always gotta love him. Um, I think he has the only terrible line in the movie. That
What would that be?
it was the ninja, more like nanja, and then he was like,
Uh, that
terrible,
was
terrible. What passes for a ninja
pass for,
these days, or something
pass
like
for a
that.
ninja these
Yeah,
days.
he said that, and even as a kid, I was like, who wrote that? Who was like, yeah, that should make it into the movie? That is like the only terrible line in that movie.
You know for a fact, like that had to go past like 30 people to get in the
Yeah,
movie,
and
and
they were
nobody
like,
said anything.
someone read it, and it's like, ninja, more like nanja. It's terrible what passes for a ninja these days. Yep, that's perfect. That should make it into the final cut, and it did. And it's the only part of the movie where I'm like, yikes. Um,
Yeah, that was not the greatest dialogue, I have to
yeah,
say.
yeah. So let's talk about what I think is the coolest part of the movie, and that's the visual style.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
for
very
sure.
in your face, very upfront. It was very different. It's just visually, it's enjoying to watch. I don't think there's any other
I
way to say it.
I would agree. I think it's like overwhelming in a sense, but also I think it's intentionally like I could be wrong, but I think they did it intentionally because if you're like actually in a race, it wouldn't be like some calm, like clear thing. It'd just kind of be like all over the place. And
Yeah,
I think it really, really intensified the racing scenes. I think that was awesome.
yeah. Um, it was very colorful, very visual. They did some cool stuff with some green screen and things like that,
Yeah,
and I think it really helped with racing movies, with things like Days of Thunder or Ford versus Ferrari and things like that. It's very hard to keep a narrative while on the track, you know. And I think the way they shot that movie, it made it very easy for them to tell a narrative, a story, while racing. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It definitely made it smooth. It didn't feel clunky or choppy. It kind of just flowed, which is I think what they were going for. Like it was. You know what I mean? Like a
yeah.
car racing. Um,
Yes, yeah.
um,
I
yeah,
also like that there was more than like one race. Like I kind of came in with the expectation that like there was gonna be like he was gonna like race at the Grand Prix at the end, and like yeah he did do that, but there was also like an intermediate race at the middle of the movie,
yeah.
and there
Desert
was one at the
race.
beginning. So like
Yeah,
if you
his
want to
local
see
race.
Speed Racer to get some racing,
There it is.
I
That.
think they filled the quota for sure.
Yeah. Even though it's not exactly modern racing, it was definitely an interesting type of racing.
I like
Um,
how like whenever they do a turn, they just do like a backward spin for no reason.
yeah, there was a lot of spinning. It felt like the Star Wars prequel movies. So like, let's try
Pottery.
a spin.
It's like a 2.5 hour pod racing scene,
Exactly.
basically.
There was a lot of drifting around corners, curvy tracks, but it was like I said, it was all trying to be like visually cool and interesting. I think
I
it
mean,
pulled that off.
yeah. Who's to say how physics works anyway?
Um, this movie I feel like was intended for kids on some level. Um,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. So in terms of like the overall plot of it, them trying to foil a greedy stock guy,
Yeah.
um, I thought that worked out pretty well, and it didn't feel forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he was like comically evil, but like it
Yeah,
was still very entertaining
to
in that
see him
sense.
lose.
Like they just went full send for the
Yeah,
comedic. It's
yeah,
like this guy shows up at the beginning of the movie. He shows up to their house to
yeah, and he
like
was very
have breakfast.
charismatic.
It was like, all right, this guy is not good. Like,
Yeah, you could see it immediately.
because he showed up in a freaking
I thought that was really funny and creative. How like you couldn't hear him at all over
yeah,
his helicopter or whatever.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, and then he was like pancakes is like I thought he was pretty charismatic. He had some pretty good lines in that part
yeah,
where he was in the
yeah.
house, like the when he was talking with the dad about how I sympathize, no empathize. I was like, oh man, this guy's got
Yes.
away with words.
I also like how he like tried to like purchase the pancake recipe from the like Susan Sarandon, who's the mom.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like I'll have my
like
lawyers.
that.
It was foreshadowing. It was nice foreshadowing.
Yeah, yeah. It was like that is very. This guy is the Jeff Bezos of the movie, if you will. Speed Racer is the working man, the working class. I feel like it really relates to our modern political climate
Yeah,
in that way.
yeah,
But
I would agree.
yeah,
It's all about
I
stonks, if you will.
it actually is. There was a big. I was not expecting economics in the Speed Racer movie, but it was there for
It
sure.
was. Yeah.
Uh, what also was there, something that I did definitely want to hit on, was Chim Chim.
Chim
Uh,
Chim Monk.
First of all, any monkey that's a main character in a movie, like maybe it's a personal preference, but I just think that is always a fantastic choice.
Yeah.
Um, like, name any good movie, you add a monkey as a main character. I think that really enhances the entertainment factor. And Chip Chip is that's a good acting monkey, I have to say.
Yeah. It was
The only kind of qualm I had with it was sometimes they'd have whatever the younger kid's name was. They would
Spritel.
have tangents. Yeah, the tangents with him and the monkey, or Chim Chim,
Hmm.
like just randomly, like it didn't make sense for the plot at all. Like when they were in the back of the airplane,
That was
like
funny.
that just it was funny, but it just did not need it did not need to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it
It
was
just
like
kept
kids
it.
service. It felt a little bit, because
Yeah,
like it was
yeah,
a
yeah,
movie for kids.
yeah. Of course. Um,
Um,
yeah, I'd say it's got to be up there with a great movie monkey performance. Up there with uh, fucking Night at the Museum monkey. Uh, and
you
like
start
what other
slapping
monkeys?
each other.
Yeah,
Um,
I think one of these we should have a monkey tier list
yeah,
for
I'm
teen
sure there was like a
movies.
Jane Goodall movie where
Yeah,
there's like
yeah,
tons of monkeys. But one thing I thought was interesting, even though it's a kids movie, the runtime is over 2 hours.
yeah. You wouldn't think kids would have that sort of attention span.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, there was a lot of story to tell.
yeah, that's true. That's true. They did cover a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you ever watch like the cartoon Speed Racer, or like I don't know, did they have comics or anything? Like are you
I did.
familiar with the
I watched the comic Speed Racer once, or not comics, but like the cartoon on TV. I watched like one episode of it, and like Speed Racer's dad is dead, I guess, in
Oh,
the cartoons, and like the ghost of his dad was there, like racing the car for. It was really weird. I was like, I don't get it.
like this is like the old cartoon, right? Like the
Yeah,
really old one. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they replaced it with Rex Racer. Speaking of, so I guess they just wanted to have John Goodman in the movie, which like fair enough. Like he's a great actor.
Hmm.
I thought he was enjoyable. Besides that, ninja. Uh, and then, like halfway through the movie, he just turns into a wrestler from out of nowhere.
Hmm.
He just starts body slamming people.
Body
Oh my
slamming ninjas.
god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
I mean,
no, I thought that was.
we
Oh, go
could
ahead.
we could talk about the origin of Speed Racer. I think
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's a weird character, especially how he like dresses, and like on top of that, racing nowadays isn't as popular as it used to be. But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but think I think Speed Racer is based off of the American race car driver Phil Hill, um,
Okay.
who was pretty famous in Formula One and the Le Mans 24 Hours, if you know what that is.
I
It's
actually I don't
it's
I
what
don't
the
know.
movie Ford versus Ferrari is about, but he did it
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
early '60s.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, he was a pretty famous what do you call it? Uh, Formula One driver who won. He's an American, so it's pretty rare for an American to be in the sport. But he
Yep.
won
Yep.
on the Ferrari team the world championship. So
Oh wow.
I think that's because like Speed Racer kind of dresses like Phil Hill dresses when he drove.
Do you
With
also like drive the same car, or is that just they just like
um
took the outfit and made it into a car? Basically?
nah, I mean somewhat of similar car, yeah. Except Speed Racer's is white
Let's see
instead of
from
red.
Phil Hill driver.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you
let's
look,
see.
he's
Wait. Oh, he died like right the same year that this movie came out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's who Speed Racer's based off of.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, he's got the white hat. Yeah, I don't know too much about racing. I know you're kind of the resident expert here, but one thing that I did think was cool was just like the weaponry that they added. I think it really added some tension. Uh,
The
like they
weaponry.
had,
Oh, on the cars, right?
yeah, on the cars, yeah,
That
yeah.
was fun.
Like the I love the snake guy. Like he just like throws
Throws a
snakes at
snake.
people.
Yeah.
What's his name? Like snake oil or something?
Yeah,
Or
something like that. And then there was the one guy that, or it was the girl who had it was like a sword on her wheel. A Speed Racer had the shield, and they were like playing a video game against each other, like trying to block it.
I think my favorite one is the beehive, where the guy goes to
Beehive.
launch the beehive and he blocks it, so it just lands on his head.
Yeah. Uh,
Wow. I
it's
mean,
pretty
this
goofy.
like
It's like wacky races almost. I think
it
that's
is. Yeah.
yeah.
Like this movie, it is incredibly wacky, and like in
Uh huh.
that way, it's kind of cheesy, but like it's like really entertaining. Like I can't really see how you watch this movie and you don't have a good time. Like I would highly recommend it as somebody who. I mean, I think I may have seen it when it came out, but I couldn't remember it at all. So it's like the first time I've seen it, basically. I would, if to the 5 people that are listening, I would say go watch Speed Racer 2008.
Yeah. I 5 people. Let's be more realistic. It's probably zero.
No,
um,
I'm gonna watch it,
you're gonna watch it. Oh, yeah, I'll give it a
and
watch. I'm sure maybe
and
some.
then get the roommates to watch it.
Yeah,
I think we can get up to 5 there.
yeah,
They don't have to watch the whole thing, just this part.
yeah. I would agree. Um, unfortunately, there was no sequel. It would have been an interesting sequel, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think there's like, like what story could like he won the Grand Prix and was like the
Yeah,
world champion, or
there's
something
not a
like
whole
that.
lot to go from there.
I mean, Racer X is revealed to be his brother, which everyone knew all along, and then they tried to do
That
the fake out with like the
Oh, that was so stupid. I have to say because they
Racer
they
X,
like
Racer Rex. Oh,
oh
but you
my
know what I
god.
loved? I loved the
Oh my
inspector's
god.
name, Inspector Detector. I think that's like canon from the comic books, but I thought it was funny that they kept. I thought it was funny that they kept him as Inspector Detector.
Oh my god. I honestly didn't realize that Racer X was, Rex. I feel kind of stupid for that.
Wait, you didn't?
But like obviously I knew he was like
uh,
it's if you're not like if you're less than okay, if you're older than 5, you can figure that out. I think
yeah.
that he was like Rex. But then they were like, "Oh no, he's not Rex." I was like, "Oh, could they have made like an interesting choice in this movie?" And they were like, "No, man, he had plastic surgery. He got his whole face changed." It was like, I guess they just really wanted Matthew Fox in this movie. I don't know what to tell you. It's just uh, that I thought it was kind of like funny, but also I was like, they could have just kept it as like Rex is dead. Like that would have been an interesting choice to make for the spot, but
Yeah.
Wachowski's Mike Wachowski decided not to do it for it, unfortunately. I don't know. I thought it was cool though. Like Racer X and Speed Racer racing together, taking out some people with some like
Some
it was
baddies.
like the barbarians, like
The
the barbarian
barbarians with their
drivers.
hammers and what do you call them? Morning stars or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
What else was there?
it's a pretty good
Like,
movie, I'd say. Um,
yeah, I'm trying to
I mean, there was a
it's
lot
just
of like story building at the beginning, which they had to do because it's a new world.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, I thought it was interesting that they focused way more on the middle race than like the end race. Like the end race really didn't have like that much time. Like it didn't have as much time as the middle race, and
Yeah.
also like didn't have as much tension. I don't think because you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna win. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I like that he gets screwed over though after the
yeah,
middle
yeah.
race. They that's one thing they did a lot with the movie is they would always make you think this is about to happen and then it's like, not
Like
it's
they could have ended it like if the middle race was like a big achievement or something, but
yeah. Like with the middle race, they're like, oh, he's gonna race in the Grand Prix. Oh no, you got screwed over. But then like, oh, he does. And then it's like, Racer X is Rex Racer, and then it turns out, oh no, he's not. And then it turns out, oh yeah, he is. You know what I mean? So they keep like moving you back and forth. Um,
Yeah, I really like Ben Burns, by the way. I just thought he was quite iconic, like
Ben
the
Burns.
old
Yeah.
racer. Uh,
Yeah, I mean
like,
that's something cool that they talked
yeah,
about, like with the races being fixed.
yeah, yeah. It's almost like the United States in real life.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but when speed racers like racing really well, I forget exactly what happened. Um, but like Ben Burns is like, holy shit, like in the commentary.
yeah.
I thought
I mean, it really
I
builds.
thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, at the last race, like after he restarts the car and he's going on like his speed rampage, they do like a good
Speed
job of
rampage.
like hyping him up to be like, oh
Yeah,
my god, he's the best person to ever touch the track. He's just annihilating people left and right.
yeah.
So it was a pretty
The,
epic finale. And then they
and
had
then
all the cool visuals.
yeah, and what's his face went to prison. Let me find him.
Royalton.
Royalton.
Yes.
Yes, a very non-auspicious, whatever the word is, name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
E.P. Arnold Royalton, owner of Royalton Industries. It's like,
I
yeah.
mean that makes sense.
Uh,
Apparently, Susan Sarandon's character's name is literally just Mom.
Mom. Yeah, it's Mom and Pop Racer. They don't have names. That's like, it's Mom Racer and Pop Racer. Because, like, you're viewing the world through, like a Speed Racer's eyes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Also, like the fact that Speed Racer like we start, it's like an origin movie too, because like we start when he's like in like elementary school and he's just like a freaking like dumbass. Or he's not an idiot, but like he just doesn't care about school at all, and he fills out uh the bubble test, and he just writes his brother's name
Oh,
like
yeah.
sideways.
Relatable.
Yeah,
Who
you ever
likes
do
school?
that?
Um, Yeah, I remember as a kid sometimes, when I was like taking a test and there would be like a sequence of questions that I just didn't know the answer to. I just randomly fill them in because there's like a
Yeah,
25% chance or 20% chance you'll get them right. So it's like, yeah, I'll roll a
yeah.
die.
But
Gotcha.
enough about standardized tests. I don't think anybody really likes those.
Yeah, Speed Racer definitely did not. He'd rather
No.
envision car drivers running into each other and blow up.
Yeah, he's good at stop motion.
Um, oh, this is interesting. In subsequent years, Speed Racer has garnered a strong cult following, with some
Yeah,
commentators calling it underrated and misunderstood. I think that's where we stand.
I would firmly like I. This is like the first time I've seen it, but like, is it a good like cinematic masterpiece, like well constructed, well written, like well directed? Like probably
No,
not.
it's not a Tarantino film or
It's
something.
not.
Yeah,
It's not a Spielberg. It's
it's
not a
not.
Fincher. It's
It's
not
not a.
anything like that.
It's not a
It's a.
Kubrick. It's not a. Yeah, exactly.
But is it entertaining? Hell
Yes.
yeah! Like,
Yes.
oh my god, that's the. I was like, sometimes like with movies it's like there's always like a dip in the action, or like it's a little harder to pay attention because it's like they go on a slow place. Like, no, this movie, similar to the name or akin to the name, is literally just speeding like through the runtime, even though it's like 2 hours long or something. It
Yeah.
really, like, it's not a hard watch. It's like you can sit there, have a fun time for like 2 hours. Was it 2 hours 17?
15 minutes, something like that.
2 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, and I mean, and they jump right into the action too. Like his big race where he's racing against his brother, his supposedly
It,
dead brother at the
yeah,
beginning.
it's like the Mario Kart where you're racing against the ghosts. You just
Exactly.
selected his brother, and
Yeah.
he's trying to catch him there.
Yeah, and like while that was going on, interspliced between it, they had world building parts, to like to get get you caught up on the story. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
there was action going on, but at the same time you were also learning what it's like to
Yep.
live in the world of Speed
One
Racer.
second.
Beep
Hello?
beep 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 beep.
Yeah, I'm back.
We
Sorry,
have
my
a
bad.
caller in. Oh yeah, I
So
think Speed Racer's a terrible film, and the plot and acting is garbage, and the CGI is terrible.
shut the fuck up. Your
Shut
opinion
the
doesn't
fuck up.
matter.
It doesn't
Your
matter. It's
opinion.
entertaining.
It is entertaining.
It's
It's
so.
like when Scorsese said like the Marvel movies are like an embarrassment to film or something. It's like, bro,
Shut the
shut up. Like they're
fuck
not
up.
supposed to be like masterpieces. They're just
Yeah, it's like
consistently entertaining.
and plus they make a lot of money, but everyone like do these movies get considered for Academy Awards? No. No. I think one of the only movies to make it up to the Academy Awards stage that was a Marvel movie was Black Panther, and that was for the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not for the plot or the acting or the screenplay, It was for the music, and I mean, it had good music, so it was
Yeah. Yeah.
rightfully
No,
there.
that soundtrack was very good.
Bruh, when
I think
he
Shang-Chi might
Shang-Chi was pretty good. Yeah, I like the
did
soundtrack a lot.
yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed it. It
Okay,
was
we should do a
definitely,
review on that too.
yeah, it was definitely one of the better Marvel movies.
No, I would firmly in terms of origin movies, definitely one or two best
Yeah,
with a Black Panther
I
probably.
don't I don't listen to the soundtrack of movies often, um, but I do know I do listen to the Black Panther soundtrack just
Yeah,
on its
yeah,
own because the music itself is so good. So, I mean, you know, it it's the you need sometimes you need those entertaining films, like
yeah.
sometimes you've got your serious film, you've got your action film, you got your rom-com, you've got your feel-good films, movies like like Real Steel, and Speed Racer's a feel-good film, but it's also
Oh,
an
Real
action.
Steel's great.
I
Yeah,
love Real
Real Steel.
Steel. Maybe we could do one on that too, because I absolutely adore that movie too.
Yeah,
um
I think it's kind of like a spectrum. It's like you have like on one side of the spectrum you have like period pieces where it's like just Oscar bait. It's extremely serious.
yeah,
There's like
yeah,
it's like extremely finely directed. Um, and yeah, like for instance, like I'm not saying this is Oscar bait, but there was that one where they reanimated. It was like Peter Jackson. They reanimated like World War I footage, or they like recolored it using special effects. I forget what it was called. Maybe like 1912 or I honestly don't remember the name, but I'd say like that's like one side of the spectrum, and the other side of the spectrum is like Sharknado, and yeah, I'd say Speed Racer is like closer to the Sharknado side, but is definitely a superior movie in like basically every way. That doesn't make it a bad movie. That doesn't mean it's like a bad movie. There are different types of movies. I think evaluating it on the same scale is
yeah, I'd agree.
kind of not adequate.
Yeah,
If you like the movie, it's good in your eyes. Yeah,
I do. I enjoy this movie a lot, and I'm glad you enjoyed it too.
I really liked it. I'm not even like saying that to appease you. Like I legitimately like this movie.
Yeah, the Wachowskis, who I think they're directing The Matrix, right? They directed The
They are.
Matrix, and they're
Oh, they did.
directing the new one. So I mean, it's not like it was, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I
bad
heard
or
they kind of went downhill. Like they directed Jupiter Ascending, which was apparently like a catastrophe. I didn't see
yeah.
it,
I didn't
so
see it
I can't really
either.
say too much. But it was not Eddie Redmayne's finest performance, to my understanding. But, back to Speed Racer. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on? Uh, do you think it was acted well? Like, what was your opinion on the acting?
Um, yeah. I mean, some lines were bad. Um,
Yeah, that's not the actor's fault though. Like, that's just the
yeah,
writing. You know?
yeah. I'd agree. Um,
Okay, riddle me this. What was your favorite part of the movie? Like favorite moment, I guess.
favorite part of the movie. I mean, the ending's pretty great. It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
The music is soaring. The visuals are going crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. I'd probably have to go when Ben Burge says "Oh shit." I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the line, but it's something along those lines. Or could be "Holy shit." Um, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to touch on about it? I thought it was overall very good. I think we've covered a lot of great stuff on.
Yeah, no, I think we could leave it there. Um, check it out. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's entertaining
yeah,
time.
for sure.
Um, keep you entertained if you have a couple hours to kill, and who knows, you might become a part of that cult following they talk about,
Yeah,
which
I
I
wouldn't,
most certainly
I
am.
wouldn't I wouldn't say I'm part of the cult following, but I definitely appreciate it as a movie.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not as bad as they
now,
say, right?
to all the viewers out there, um, you know,
Hi, Danny.
hi Danny. Um, this is ideally gonna be a weekly or bi-weekly podcast. Would you agree,
I
Prosper?
would say let's try to do weekly. I'm ambitious.
Weekly? I'm
Yeah,
fine with that. Put your uh put your suggestions for our next movie in the comment below, or I'll throw some suggestions out. We could do Shang Chi because we both confirmed we saw that.
yeah.
You do Real Steel, with
Ooh,
Hugh Jackman,
huge Ackman,
Huge Ackman, um,
huge mungus.
Huge Mungus. That's funny.
Um,
Um,
yeah,
Trying to think of any other movies.
that would be a fun one. I like Real Steel, but
Oh, we could do The
there's plenty of
Gentleman
movies.
because
Oh,
we saw that. That
let
was a
us
good.
please. I love that movie too. That's a good movie. Let's do The Gentleman
Um,
next week. How about that?
I mean, we gotta let the great
Let the viewers,
number of viewers
the,
decide.
all of them, all of them, vote now for The Gentleman, please. I will
I mean,
solicit votes.
we can vote on our own poll, right? Like we can,
Yeah,
because
of
I have like
course.
three YouTube accounts.
It's a democracy. The
I
attempt
love
on my
democracy.
life has left me scarred. I love democracy.
I
Um,
carry my resolve. Good song.
sugar. uh,
That, like, I kind of feel like
we could do the prequels.
Speed Racer. Yeah, just kind of like because you said that. I feel like Speed Racer is kind of like the prequels in that is it a great movie like cinematic? Like I know I already said this, but like they're not great movies, but they are entertainment. Maybe not like the Phantom Menace all the time, but like there are entertaining parts of that movie. Like I think the pod racing scene is like equivalent to some of the races in this movie.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think there's some value to be taken out.
I
Lesson
completely
of the
agree.
day. Lesson
That this movie learned a lot
life
from the
lesson.
sequels. They tried spinning. It was a good trick.
They did. I really wish George Lucas has like set up something about the high ground in the Phantom Menace, and then just for like the high ground thing to happen in Revenge of the Sith. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But we can get into Star Wars another day. I think
Oh, there's
I think
plenty of
we
yeah.
should wrap this up
Yeah, there's
probably.
plenty of time in the future. All right, that was our
I think
review of
hour
Speed Racer.
Speed Racer 2008
A- The Wachowskis.
Wachowski.
The
Yeah.
Wachowski.
Hey yo Wachowski.
A
Um
spell IHOP and then say Ness.
All right, I think we're devolving here
Yeah.
uh, a little bit. So probably a good sign to sign off. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we'll see you next week for
We'll
sure.
see you next week.